Hello, my name is China and welcome to ArtistAnd. This week I'm sat in front of my sofa, literally not on the sofa, in front of it, because it's January and it's cold and it's wet. So I'm sat on the floor on the coffee table watching some good TV and having a little draw. Now, this week, because of things like dry January and veganuary, I thought it might be fun to draw something that is non-alcohol related. Don't get me wrong, I am sat here with a glass of wine. But there are some really cool brands like Trip that I recently tried and thought, actually, this is really nice. So I wanted to try it because, well, not to drink, to draw. I wanted to draw it because it's a really good way to practice our gradients. And also, it has a line drawing on it, which I thought, ooh, I bet I can do this in 2 seconds. And I drew it, and it wasn't great, which is really annoying because I did a really nice job on shading the actual tin itself. So if you want to give it a go, I'm going to tell you how I did it, and I really hope you do the peace sign drawing way better than I do. So let's try and draw Trip, the beautiful non-alcoholic drink. All right, so you know the drill by now. Grab your pencils and let's start on the basic cylinder shape of your can. Now, very quickly, I realized that doing this freehand takes way more time than just grabbing something with a straight edge. So if you want to grab a ruler, it's not cheating. Just try and draw 2 lines that are parallel with each other either side. And then you want to do a curve pointing down at the bottom and a curve pointing up at the top. Once you've got the top one, draw a parallel line to that. So this is showing that little metal ring right near the top there. And you can just cinch these little tiny wastes just next to that, just to show the part of the can where it kind of like squeezes in. Don't forget to rub out any excess lines that you don't need. So once we've got that, we're going to move on down to the bottom and we're going to try and add that little metal bit just there as well. So again, this has almost like a little cinched edge, so you just want to chop those corners off and do another parallel line that comes across the can there. So the construct of this drawing is super simple. It's just about symmetry and getting your lines parallel. Once you've done that, you're going to start on the shading. Now, with something that's curved, hopefully you've remembered from our gradient lessons, you are going to try and get a dark edge. So it's going to be really thin. This is the thickest that I will do this shade. So I'm not going all the way to the top just yet. I'm just trying to remind myself that the can actually curves in and out. So I'm just stopping myself just before the top to make sure I change the shading near there. So all you want to do at this stage is try and get a gradient from dark to light in a very short space. So you'll notice as my shading gets lighter, I start pushing the lead further away from my fingers. This helps to get a lighter shade because I'm not gripping it so aggressively. I'm trying to be really gentle and I'm trying to just let gravity do its job, basically. I'm using a 2B pencil. I definitely should have said that earlier, but it's only been a couple of minutes, so hopefully it's not too late. So I'm using a 2B pencil because that's a nice light pencil. It doesn't scratch the paper too much. And you can see already that I'm getting a nice gradient from the left side into the middle. And I'm not going all the way to the center. I'm actually going to leave a little bit of a glow. So I want you to try and get your shade to disappear when it gets to this point. See how delicate you can be. Once you've done that, you want to add a slightly darker area in the middle. And again, this is just a strip, so it's not going all the way to the left or to the right. I'm starting with a darker, thin bit in the middle and then trying to blend that out either side. So again, I don't want to see any harsh lines. I don't want to see where my shading starts or where it stops. I just want this to blend really delicately in there. So it is tricky, but it's such good practice for your shapes and understanding shading and shadow and making things look a little bit more 3D. So really give this a go and try and be as delicate as you can. There's not often that I'll say, be super delicate. So enjoy this because we will be going dark and hard very, very soon. Okay, so on the right hand side, you're going to do exactly the same as you did on the left. So you're getting that lovely curvature with the gradient, darker on the edge and then lighter towards the middle. Again, don't touch that middle strip of shading, just on the outer edge there. Cool, so this is our can, this will do. And what we want to do now is just shading that little fold. So just above the shading that we've done, we left a little bit of a light gap. We want to mirror the pattern that we've got. So it's dark, light, medium, light, dark. And we want to leave a very, very light rim. So it's just showing that there's a change in direction as well. And then just a little bit of a cast shadow underneath that metal edge. Okay, fab. This is looking all right for a 10-minute sketch. Now, what I want you to do is move on down to the bottom. So this is metal, and it is a little bit darker than the branding color itself. I think the color that I was drawing from was a pale pink. So I know that I can shade this a little bit darker and add some stronger shadows, especially when it comes to metal. Metal is much easier than it looks, and it's incredibly effective, but we will look at that during the year. So try and get your shading in the right places. Just watch where I'm doing it. And you want to go really dark where it's dark. Wow, that was aggressive, sorry. You want to go like completely white where it needs to be. Also with a couple of grays in between. Fab. And then we're going to do the same for the top. Now I had to turn my paper around. It was getting a little bit painful. So do make sure you turn your paper as you need. I try really hard to keep it in the right place so you can see it, but this one I just gave in. Okay, fab. So that is our tin. It's not metal in the middle, so I didn't want to go too dark. But now it's time for the line drawing. You're going to be so embarrassed for me when you see this. I tried to do it as a continuous line drawing, and to be honest, hands are not easy in the best of times, you know, when you're feeling like your optimum artist self. And to do it in a continuous line drawing, fuck me, I'll never do that again. As you can see, I've given it like an alien tip on that second finger. It's fatter at the top and then really like skinny and but bulgy at the same time underneath. Look at that little finger. That's shocking. Do your little finger bigger, people. This is, it's one of my worst things, but I still wanted to show you it. You know, mistakes happen. People are normal. And yeah, just wait till you get a load of this thumb. It's like, well, we all know what it's like. Say no more. So what I'm going to do actually is I'm just going to change it. So don't be afraid to fix your mistakes. And then last but not least, we need to just put its logo and its branding on, and then there we go. So there we go. It's Saturday night, glass of wine, and a drawing of a non-alcoholic brand and a very dodgy looking thumb. Enjoy, and I'll see you next week for another video.